Watch Dr. Drew's new show at 9 on HLN. Weeknights on HLN.
Obviously, Casey was the last person to see Caylee alive.
Yeah.
Obviously, the evidence points to the fact that she took her body and put it somewhere in the woods.
And Richard,
that's what the evidence tells me.
Okay. And Richard, you wanted to ring in a little bit here too. This is your chance. Please, your thoughts?
I will say this about Casey. Everybody has painted her out to be a monster. Casey's broken. It's obvious that there's something wrong. But I will tell you this. When she was in our house 3, 4, 5 days a week for over 10 months, she was fun to have around. She would eat dinner with us. She'd do family devotions with us. She'd watch TV with us. When she gave you a hug, she'd tuck in under your armpit, and it was the kind of hug that said, "Protect me." And I can see why everybody falls in love with Casey, but the more you're around her, the more you begin to see a pattern of exaggeration, of things not lining up, and you kind of just slough it off. She's immature, she's young. She has, obviously, there's some kind of a self-worth issue because she needs to fit in badly. But I've listened to 3 years of the lynch mob mentality. She's a monster, she's a monster. She's not. She's a person, and there's something wrong, and somebody didn't love her enough to do something about it.
Now, Jesse, were you surprised by the verdict?
I was shocked. I think it's a better choice of words than surprised. I was shocked.
Help me understand what you know that helps the rest of us get our head around what happened here.
I can't even wrap my head around what happened here, and I've known Casey for years. Well, the old Casey, not necessarily the one that's been sitting in court and smiling and laughing while her murder trial's been going on, but the old Casey that I knew. I wouldn't have been shocked by this verdict. However, this person as she stands today, I know little about the way she ticks.
Well, Jesse, let's go over your relationship and how it unfolded. When did you guys meet and how did you meet?
We met while I was working at Universal Studios in December of 2004. I was a loss prevention officer, which is undercover security, and she was an assistant manager of a Kodak kiosk store inside Universal Studios. We met, kind of one of those love at first sight moments, and from there started dating.
How was your relationship? Was it a calm relationship? Was it a tumultuous relationship?
No, she was very quiet. She was reserved. She was very funny. She was fun to be around. It started out great. It was very passionate, for lack of a better term. However, I ended it soon afterwards just based on the fact that I was only 22 at the time, and I was still feeling like I needed some more time to myself. But we remained friends until notification that I was potentially going to be the father of her child.
Tell me about that. How'd you learn that?
I received that notification via text message. She tried to call me, and I was unavailable at the time, and I told her, whatever it was, just text me. And I received a text message, "I'm pregnant, it's yours, my parents know."
Is the child, is Caylee what brought you back into her life?
We were friends, and we remained constant with each other even after the first part of our relationship ended. However, Caylee really solidified, it made me grow up. I had to take on the responsibilities of being a father, so I had to grow up in an instant. And when I realized it was time for me to grow up, Casey ended up being the person that I wanted to be with.
And then when did you learn that this perhaps wasn't your child?
Well, Dr. Drew, the math never really worked. I mean, she told me that she's pregnant and that the baby's born full term in August, but we didn't start dating until late January, so she would have had to have been a preemie baby for her to have been mine. However, I did the diligent thing and got a paternity test done within 2 weeks of Caylee being born, which told me that I had a 100% probability that I was not her father. But at that point, I loved them both dearly, and I decided it doesn't take blood to be a father, and that this was going to be my family.
But that still must have been pretty tough. Did you ever find out who the father was?
She told me a story of a gentleman that she had dated, had a one-night stand with, and didn't want to have anything to do with Caylee's life. I would press at times, just based on the fact if I was going to take on the responsibilities of being an adopted father, I wanted the other dad out of the way or contributing to her life. However, she never really told me any more information than it was the gentleman that she slept with, and Caylee was born as a result of it.
Did you know Casey to have a problem with lying when you were dating her?
She would exaggerate certain truths. She would do things to feel included, which I think stemmed from self-esteem issues that she had when we were dating.
Why does she have?
However, she was not.
Why do you think bad self-esteem issues? I've heard that before. Where was that coming from?
Why do I think she had self-esteem issues?
Well, where do you think it came from? You know, did she have a bad upbringing? There's some stories to tell. That I haven't heard anyone talk about who she really is or has been, other than what you're telling me right now. And people with self-esteem issues often have stories. Things happen to them growing up.
You know, there's no one particular moment or instance that I can point at, Dr. Drew, that would tell me that it was the root of her self-esteem issues. However, I saw the dynamic of that household. I saw the way that she was treated by certain members of that household, and that just kind of indicated to me that over the years, she may have been torn down enough to not think very well of herself.
That's by mom, I imagine?
Yes, sir.